Hello again. Well, it is the end of the gardening season for me. It's mid-December, and finally, at long last, I've actually gotten my main lower garden all ready for the winter time. So I'll just give you one little last tour of the garden. We'll kind of say goodbye to it for this year, at least for the time being. And we will see what will become of things over the winter time. So let's take a look. Well, here we're just taking a little look at the garden from the outside. It looks so bare, but I have got it all cleaned up and mulched down for the year. You can see in the foreground along the border that I have put down a heavy layer of hay all along these border beds. I have still some things growing that will continue to kind of putter along through the winter. These are the Egyptian walking onions. They don't look like much right now, but they will develop some nice roots during the winter, and they're very hardy, so they will survive just fine. You can see some more over here. Into the garden gate we go. There are still a few things growing here in the garden. Mainly, there are parsnips and some of the green glazed collards that have been here all along. These were planted in the spring of last year, and they just sort of puttered along through the summer. We really didn't eat or cut that much of them through the summer because they just don't taste great in the summer. But you can see these massive leaves, and this will last really through the winter. So each time we come down, we will have a nice time to be able to get some of these green glazed collards. Over here are the parsnips in the parsnip patch, which I will be harvesting out very shortly here. I'll probably take them back to the city with me. You can't just pull parsnips up. I mean, I could try to pull that one up, but it really is well rooted, and it's best to have a garden fork to dig them out. But it is definitely time to get them. You can see that, and I did a video on this earlier about how I prepped these particular beds. These are pretty hardworking no-dig beds, and so I put down a layer of compost. I put some granular organic fertilizer, just a low level 3-4-3. I put some alfalfa pellets down, and then I put a heavy layer of the ground up leaves you can see here. And that will the worms will really love this. The soil organisms will love this. And in the spring, it'll be perfect for planting into. This particular center bed, which is where I had my brassicas this year growing, this is the bed that I was having some real trouble with soil compaction here. This was one of the few original garden beds that were actually double dig beds originally. And the soil really got compacted this year. This is why, as I said in that video that I did, I'm never going to do a double dig bed again. So I really just loaded this up with hay. I put some alfalfa pellets down, some organic granular fertilizer, and I put about 1.5 feet of hay on here about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days ago. And already you can see how much it compacts down. Hay is great because it sort of forms this interlocking layer and it won't blow away in the wind, which is a plus. Here I have a couple of grow bags full of spinach, and that will percolate along in the summer. That will percolate along in the winter time, and it'll survive. And then come February, it'll really start to grow again. Over here are some chard, a little bit of lettuce. Most of this I'm going to be harvesting out in the next few days. Also a few radishes here. Let's see what we can get here. Pull one. Oh yeah. There we go. There's a little radish. And here's a pretty one too. Pretty color. Down the row, we just have more of the beds prepped as usual. I did run out or didn't have time to do everything with the leaves, so I have done a lot of the beds in this end with the hay. And you can see here I've got some Brussels sprouts. These I'll be harvesting shortly. I've eaten several of them. You can see where I've picked them here. But they're nice and they're ready to eat, so that'll be a nice treat. Over here in the bags are some leeks. And over here are a few carrots in the bag. As we walk along the outside, you'll see that I've cleaned up all of my beds, most of them on the outside perimeter. These I mainly did with hay, just loaded up on hay. The one on the That square one over there on the other side of the trellis, that is the Ruth Stout potato bed. And this was a bed that I made. You can see a video that I made last year about creating a new no-dig bed. And this I just piled up with a good foot of hay. It is amazing how quickly the hay does settle down, and that is good. It'll just continue to compost. In the foreground, we have snapdragons that are still green. So I guess those are kind of hardy plants as we go along. Down here, you'll see, here's some oregano that I just transplanted a little sprig in the spring last year, and it's going to spread all over the place here. And that's fine because I really want my smelly herbs to be on this perimeter, along with the garlic that you see sprouting up in this section here. I'm sort of just leaving the lavender to kind of be here over the winter. I may cut it back later. It's dried now, and it smells quite lovely, like lavender. Funny thing that way. It took me a while to do this. Well, it took a little bit of time, mainly because I just didn't have the energy level after COVID. But I've gotten it done now, and so I'm content. I'll be coming back and doing some cleanup here and there. But mainly, the main thing is I just wanted to get these beds covered. And here you can see my sweet potato pen, which I actually need to close off. I will probably end up setting some mole and vole traps in here to try to get rid of those guys. And you can see this is where I had all kinds of marigolds and peppers and my squash growing up here. Again, just covered over with a nice thick light layer of hay. It surprises me that the passion flower vine is still actually green, which I thought it was quite frost tender, but it still is, it's alive. It's not snapping off. I still have quite a few bales of hay sitting around, and I'll be using that. I'll put more hay down as the winter goes on in certain places. Also, probably in January or early February, I'll come along and really cut down these rose bushes, trim them way back. Those are the knockout roses. It's always really hard to say goodbye to the garden, but goodbye garden. It's been a great garden and a good gardening year. It always has some ups and downs, but all in all, it's mainly ups. And I'm looking forward to having a little bit of a rest through the next month or two. I'll be starting some seeds come January and February, doing a little bit of travel. I'll be posting fewer videos than during the growing season, but I will post as I'm doing things, and I'll be posting a number of cooking recipes as well. Anyway, look for all of those and look for additional gardening videos. I hope that you are doing well. Take care. Bye.